February 8th, 1250. The gates of Mansura stand open, wide open. French army sees the empty gates and thinks they have won. The King of France's brother leads the charge. Knights Templar follow. They ride into the city at full speed. And then the gate slams shut behind them. The streets are not empty. Soldiers pour out of every building, every window, every door. The Crusaders are trapped. Welcome to historic Orleans. This is the Battle of Mansura, the city that turned a king's holy crusade into his worst nightmare. By the end of this, the King of France will be in chains, his army destroyed, and Europe will learn a brutal lesson. This is how one open gate changed history, and you will not believe how this ends. But first, hit that subscribe button to Historic Orleans. We bring you the most insane battles that history forgot. Trust me, you do not want to miss what is coming next. Now let's dive in. The year is 1244. King Louis IX of France gets sick, almost dies sick, and on his deathbed, he makes a vow to God. If he survives, he will lead a crusade to recapture Jerusalem. Here is the problem. Jerusalem just fell again. The Muslims recaptured it, and Louis is thinking, we cannot just attack Jerusalem directly. We tried that before. It did not work. So he comes up with a different plan. Attack Egypt first. Why Egypt? Because Egypt is the heart of Muslim power in the region. It is their arsenal, their supply base. Take Egypt, and you control the whole region. Then Jerusalem will fall easily. At least, that is what Louis thought. In 1248, Louis assembles a massive crusade. We are talking thousands of knights, thousands more soldiers, supply ships, war horses. This is one of the biggest crusader armies ever. They sail from France to Cyprus, then to Egypt. In June 1249, they capture the Egyptian port of Damietta without a fight. The garrison just runs away. Louis walks into the city and claims it as his base. Europe goes crazy. They think Louis is going to win. They think this crusade is different. But what happens next? Louis wants to march straight to Cairo, take the capital, end this war. But there's a problem. The Nile River floods every summer. The entire delta turns into a swamp. You cannot march an army through that. So Louis is stuck in Damietta 4 months, just waiting for the water to go down. And while he waits, the Egyptian army is gathering at a city called Mansura, which literally means the victorious in Arabic. That should have been Louis's first warning. The Egyptian Sultan, as-Salih Ayyub, is preparing to crush the Crusaders. But then, something crazy happens. The Sultan dies right before the battle. His widow, Shuja al-Dur, has to keep it a secret. She is running the entire Egyptian defense while pretending her husband is still alive. And you know what? She is brilliant at it. By November 1249, the flood waters recede. Louis marches south toward Cairo. His army crosses canals, fights skirmishes, slowly pushes forward, and then they reach Mansura. There's a canal, the Bahr al-Saga. The Egyptians are on the other side. Mansura sits behind them. Louis cannot get across. For 6 weeks, he tries to build a bridge, but the Egyptians destroy it with Greek fire. That is medieval napalm. It burns even on water. The Crusaders are stuck, frustrated, losing men to disease and Egyptian attacks. And then, a local Egyptian shows them something. A ford, a shallow crossing point downstream. Louis sees his chance. February 8th, 1250. Before dawn, Louis sends his vanguard across the ford. These are his best troops. His brother Robert of Artois is leading them. The Knights Templar are with him. English knights, the elite. The plan is simple. Cross the river, wait for the main army, then attack together. But Robert has other ideas. He sees the Egyptian camp, just sitting there, 2 miles from Mansura. And he thinks, why wait? We can hit them now. Catch them by surprise. Win this war today. So he charges. Against orders. The Knights Templar try to tell him to stop. He does not listen. And at first, it works. The Egyptian camp is caught off guard. Soldiers scatter. The Egyptian commander, Fakhr ad-Din, gets killed in his bath. Robert thinks he is a genius. He thinks he just won. Then he sees Mansura. The gates are open. Wide open. The city looks empty. Robert does not even hesitate. He charges straight into the city. The Knights Templar follow. They cannot let him die alone. And you want to know what happens next? This is where it gets interesting. The moment the Crusaders are inside, the gate slams shut behind them. This was a trap, set by a Mamluk commander named Baibars. He wanted the Crusaders to enter the city, because Mansura is not empty. Soldiers pour out of every building. Civilians join in, throwing stones from windows. The narrow streets become death traps. The Crusaders are in full armor on horseback, in tight medieval streets. They cannot turn around. They cannot fight properly. They are being picked off one by one. Robert of Artois tries to take shelter in a house. He fights until the end, but he is overwhelmed and killed. William of Salisbury, the English commander, dead. The Knights Templar, the most elite fighting force in Europe, are slaughtered. Out of their entire unit, only 5 survive. The streets of Mansura run red with blood. Bodies are thrown into the Nile. The entire vanguard of the Crusader army is destroyed. In one day, when Louis hears what happened, he is devastated. His brother is dead. His best troops are gone. But he still has the main army. So he digs in, builds fortifications, tries to hold his position and figure out what to do next. But the Egyptians, they are not done. On February 27th, the new Sultan, Turin Shah, arrives. Now the Egyptian army has a leader, and they have a plan. They take ships and drag them overland, around the Crusader position, then drop them in the Nile behind the Crusader fleet. This cuts off Louis from Damietta, from his supplies, from reinforcements. He is now surrounded. The Egyptians attack the Crusader supply ships with Greek fire. Ships burn, supplies sink, food stops coming, and then disease hits the camp. Dysentery, typhoid. The soldiers are dying faster from disease than from combat. Men are too weak to fight, too sick to even stand. Some Crusaders give up and defect to the Muslim side. They would rather convert to Islam than die in that camp. Louis tries to negotiate. He offers to give back Damietta in exchange for Jerusalem and some coastal towns. The Egyptians look at his starving, sick, surrounded army and say no. They know he is finished. On April 5th, 1250, Louis makes a run for it. Under cover of darkness, the Crusaders try to retreat to Damietta, but the Egyptians are waiting. The next day, April 6th, at a place called Fariska, the Egyptians catch up, and they destroy what is left of the Crusader army. It was a complete annihilation. And King Louis IX, the King of France, he is captured. Let that sink in. A king, in chains, prisoner of the Muslims. This is one of the most humiliating moments in medieval European history. Thousands of other Crusaders are captured too. So many that the Egyptian prisons are full. Some prisoners are executed. Others are sold into slavery. Meanwhile, back in Europe, false news is spreading. People think Louis won. They think Cairo fell. Churches ring their bells. People celebrate in the streets. And then the truth arrives. Survivors stagger back to Europe with the real story. Louis is captured. The army is destroyed. The crusade is over. Europe is shocked. How could this happen? Louis was supposed to be different. This crusade was supposed to succeed. Louis eventually gets ransomed. 400,000 livres. A massive sum. Plus, France has to give back Damietta. After all that fighting, all those deaths, France walks away with nothing. But for Egypt, this battle changes everything. The Mamluks, the warrior slaves who set the trap at Mansura, overthrow the Ayyubid dynasty. They become the new rulers of Egypt, and they will go on to stop the Mongols at Ain Jalut. They will be Islam's defenders for the next 200 years. All because of what happened at Mansura. So what is the lesson of Mansura? Feist, do not rush into cities with open gates. If something looks too good to be true, it probably is. Robert of Artois learned that the hard way. Second, arrogance kills. The Crusaders thought they were invincible. They thought Egyptian cities would just fall before them. Mansura taught them otherwise. Third, never underestimate your enemy. The Egyptians, led by a widow and commanded by former slaves, outsmarted and outfought one of Europe's most powerful armies. Louis IX eventually went on another crusade, the Eighth Crusade. He died of disease in Tunisia in 1270. He was later made a saint. But the Seventh Crusade, the disaster at Mansura, that marked the end of serious European attempts to conquer Egypt. The Crusades were over. Thank you for watching Historic War Lens. If this story of trap, disaster, and captured kings blew your mind, smash that like button and subscribe. We have more insane battles coming. Comment below. Was Robert of Artois the biggest idiot in medieval warfare? Or was Louis IX doomed from the start? I want to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep looking through the lens of history. And remember, sometimes the open gate is the most dangerous one.